Welcome back to First News 2020. We know it's been a long year when you're talking about politics, and if you're not looking forward to having tense conversations right now, even during Inauguration Week and beyond, you may not be the only one. That's why this week our Waverly Monroe sat down with an expert to talk about ways that people can respectfully discuss politics.
The last year of politics has been unprecedented, but as Inauguration Day nears, there are healthy ways you can approach those uncomfortable political conversations. This morning, we're joined by etiquette expert Sharon Schweitzer with some tips that you can use to help you in the coming days. Good morning, Sharon. So earlier this morning, we talked about ways to avoid some of those talks, but what can people do if they do have a conversation with someone and realize they do not agree?
Well, Waverly, good morning again. And many times that happens where you're having a discussion and you realize we just are not going to agree. So one of the things you can do is say, you know, that is an interesting point of view. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And maybe we should move on to another topic. Another way to handle that is to say, you know, thank you for sharing that. That really gives me some good food for thought, and I'm going to look into that more because I find that really interesting. Now, tell me a little bit about this new project you're working on, especially if you're at the office and this is with a colleague or maybe you're on a virtual call. So what you want to do is want to try to maybe move into a new area, but always thank them for sharing that information. And then if you want to, try to move into another topic, but sometimes you just have to thank them for the information and reconcile those conflicting beliefs and then move on.
All right, well, Sharon, if there is a discussion and people are respectful, what is the best way someone can share their views?
One of the best things you can do is realize that when you do have conflicting beliefs or you are discussing politics, there's research out there that says you are being a cheerleader for democracy if you can have a civil, respectful discussion. And so these things are good. And many of our young people want to talk about politics. There's somewhat of a generational divide. Many people do not want to talk politics or find it uncomfortable to talk politics, depending on the generation you're in. But our young people really want to talk about it. So if we can do it in a respectful way and in a way that explores the topics, what you want to do is cite research. Cite backup information that supports your views, and try to avoid using supporting information that just antagonizes the person that you're visiting with, especially if you know that they truly dislike the resource that you are going to cite, because that is not going to support your argument. So if you can use information that is current, that is something that has been cited within the past, week or 30 days. Because if you're going to cite information that is 6 or 7 months old, that is going to be difficult because many people are going to say, well, that's outdated because our world moves so fast these days. So that hopefully will be helpful.
Okay, Sharon, what would be your final bit to advise for people who expect to talk politics in the next few days?
Waverly, my advice would be to find a balance, to be authentic, self-assess and decide how much information you do or do not want to share with others. And you can always, pivot and decide, this is information I've shared in the past, maybe I'm reassessing, I'm not going to share so much now going forward. It's always ultimately up to you. And I hope you and your viewers have some civil, kind, and polite conversations going forward. It's a tricky time at this point in U.S. politics and in U.S. conversations. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Sharon, so much for joining us this morning. And you can download the KETV mobile app to keep up to date with all of the events leading up to Inauguration Day.